Hi guys, and this is my Tecno Soft collection, games that were produced by Tecno Soft. We've got a great range of games here. These are some of the best that they've ever produced. They did produce a lot of shooters, and what's really good about their games as well and their gameplay, the music is also high quality. So Tecno Soft was founded in 1980 as Sasbo Microcomputer Center before changing to Tecno Soft in 1982. Tecno Soft was very profitable in the late 80s and early 90s, then profit began to diminish. Regarding their video games and their properties, Sega bought the entire library in 2016, and now I'm just going to go through my collection and please join me. So I'll start off with the Mega Drive Thunder Force series. So they made 3 games, part 2, part 3 and part 4. Part 2 I believe was a launch title for the Mega Drive, and as you can see I've got the Japanese variant of Thunder Force 3 because there was never a PAL release of that one. Yeah, and got some nice artwork here on the cover. I didn't play this one too much because I wasn't a fan of the bird's eye view stages, but still a good little solid shooter. Then we've got part 3. To some gamers this is their favorite one. Really nice box cover art for part 3, the Japanese cover. And then my favorite of the series is part 4, and in North America this was called Lightning Force. I do suck at this game, it is pretty difficult. I have beaten it many times, but I have to use the life sheet from the menu. But this is one of my most favorite shooters on the Mega Drive. Beautiful graphics and gameplay. Also part of my collection, and I absolutely love this figure. This is from Figma, and it's the ships from Thunder Force 3 and Thunder Force 4. I imported this from Japan a few years ago, and I absolutely love this thing. It's actually sealed, I've never opened it. If you're unaware, Figma make high quality figures, and they've done many characters from animes and video games, so forth, and they've done a few shooters as well. Vehicles from the shoot 'em ups like R-Type and Thunder Force. So let's have a closer look. This is Thunder Force 3, and you can pose the ship in many ways, and it comes like with all the weapon up accessories. And then we've got Thunder Force 4. This is an amazing figure. I also purchased a soundtrack for Thunder Force 4 a few years ago as well from Data Discs. Amazing soundtrack, and my one is this nice blue indigo color for the vinyl, which is really nice. And it also came with some prints. This one's really nice, and also came with this print, which is not gonna fit in the frame, but I believe this was the cover for Lightning Force for North America. Comment below if that is the case. Continuing with the Mega Drive, we've got a PAL, North American and Japanese releases here. We've got Herzog's Way, which is a kind of like a strategy game where, you know, you've got your mechs, your ships, your bases, and so forth. It is a fun strategy game. This is, if you remember Mark from Classic Game Room, this was one of his favorite games. But this is a good, fun strategy game. And then we've got Elemental Master, another shooter, which is kind of like you've got your character that goes around using spells and things, magic, scrolling vertically up to the screen. A nice solid shooter, really hard as well, really difficult. And my favorite out of the bunch of these three, I do play this regularly, absolutely love it. We've got Devil Crash, an amazing pinball game, similar to Alien Crash that they did for the PC Engine. But I absolutely love this game. I do play it heaps, and look at that amazing box cover art, really amazing. Now we'll go to the Saturn, and these are non-shooters. I left the last three shooters to group together. So here we've got a Neketu Okotsu, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is a early release on the Saturn. It's actually on the PlayStation 2, this one. And this is a really good fighting game. Really enjoy this one. It is underrated and the music is top notch. So you got the dad, the daughter, the son. Pretty much they need to rescue, you know, the mum. It's a good fighter. It's got some funny names for some of the characters, like the bad guys, like one of them's called Van Damme, which is pretty funny. It's not a perfect beat 'em up. It's definitely not as good as Streets of Rage, but it's really solid. And I do enjoy it for its unique design. Really good beat 'em up, that one. And then we've got Fantastic Pinball. So this is very similar to Alien Crush and Devil Crush, but obviously it's more like it's meant to be heaven and hell, but it's kind of more anime-y, but similar style as well. This is a really good, fun pinball game. Enjoy playing this one as well. Now the three remaining games I have on the Saturn are shooters, and they're all really good titles. So we've got Thunder Force 5. The graphics haven't aged the best because of the kind of 3D kind of effect at the time, but the game is really solid, a lot of fun, challenging, and I believe this was on the PlayStation 1 as well in Japan. But yeah, very solid sequel to 4. A lot of fun playing that one. Blast Wind. It's a bit short and it's a bit different. It's more of a vertical shooter. Most of their spaceship shooters are horizontal. Really good, short and sweet, good music. Not as good as Thunder Force 4, in my opinion, but a really fun game to play. A lot of action, and probably my favorite of them all, Hyper Duel. Yes, very expensive Saturn game, but it does live to the hype. This is truly amazing. The gameplay of this, how you can go from ship to mech, and the graphics and the bosses and everything. This is really good. I highly rate this one if you can, even if you can play it on an emulator or whatever, because it is quite expensive. Well, a lot of these games are getting up there in price, but that one I've always been happy that even though I paid a bit of money for it, I've never regretted it. And last is Thunder Force 6. So technically, I've included this because it's part of the Thunder Force series, and technically, Sega had owned the rights to their properties, but from what I could tell and what I've read about some of the developers that worked on the Thunder Force series in the past with Tecno Soft actually worked on this game as well, so that's why I included it. And believe it or not, this was actually meant to be an exclusive for the Dreamcast, but obviously after the console had failed, it was ported to the PlayStation 2. Another really good Thunder Force series. I enjoy this one as well. Some people don't like it as much, but I think it's really good. So to conclude, Tecno Soft wasn't around for a long time, but what they had produced is pretty top quality. All these games are great, and I don't have all their games. There's a few that I'm missing in the Thunder Force series, for example. And it's good that someone like Sega owns all these properties now. I just hope that in the future we get to see remakes of some of these games. Like, imagine if they made a Tecno Soft collection or a Thunder Force series collection that M2 works on and produces it. There's a lot of gold right here, a lot of great games, and yeah, fingers crossed that in the future a lot of these games can be remade. They're really good games. I highly recommend people who like the genre of shoot 'em ups, pinball, or just want to try something a little bit different, to give them a go. Alright guys, thanks for watching.